Guys, my name is Sandiswa and welcome to my channel Tax Shelter. If you are new here, we simplify tax for small businesses and individuals. If you are returning, then welcome to another video. If you're new, please subscribe, and if you can, everyone who's watching, please like the video so that you can spread the word about it, so that you can increase the algorithm for the channel and the videos, and then ultimately a lot of people will discover the channel, and that will help me. So yeah, please do that right now. Otherwise, today, what am I talking about? I am talking about tax season. The tax season is ending on the 23rd of October. What that means is you have up until the 23rd of October to submit your income tax return if you are not a provisional taxpayer. If you are a provisional taxpayer, then you have up until January to submit your income tax return. Now, what's new? Okay, the first thing is that, remember, I don't know if you remember, but tax season used to end in November. So it's become smaller. That's number one, very important. Number two, in the past, in order for Sars to start issuing penalties, you would have to have at least 2 or more returns that are outstanding, right? So in other words, if you had 1 return outstanding, Sars would sort of let you be and hope that eventually you would submit that return, but it's not like that anymore. If you now have 1 return that's outstanding, Sars starts issuing penalties right away. So if you don't submit your return on the 23rd of August, the likelihood that by the time you submit, in whichever date you decide, you will have a penalty is very high. Another thing that used to happen, that throughout my years and experience in tax, what I would find is that even if sometimes you have 2 or more outstanding returns, for whatever reason, there was a period whereby, I don't know, Sars would not pick it up or what would happen, but then you'd find that a person has maybe 1, 2, 3 returns that are outstanding, but for whatever reason they haven't gotten any penalties from Sars. But it's no longer like that. In the past few years, Sars has beefed up on their system. They've been employing IT people to do all kinds of things, and as a result, I can see now that that is paying off. So in other words, and also, I mean, Sars is quite desperate. The government does need money. They're in a lot of debt, and their budget for whatever, for everything that they do, is actually becoming higher and higher and higher. I mean, you will understand there are things like the 350 grant that were introduced that were previously not there. Believe it or not, we are the taxpayers are the ones that are funding all of that. So unfortunately, the government needs more and more money, and there's been cries about increasing that money and whatnot. And also the general grant for the older people and well as little kids that we already know, it increases each and every year. So Sars is becoming more desperate for money. But also there has been a lot of people that have been avoiding to pay tax. In fact, evading tax. That's the correct term for it. There has been a lot of people that have been evading tax. So I think Sars beefing up their IT system and also just trying to make sure that they are, and also just trying to make sure that they are following up with everyone that's not been compliant in the past. It's actually paying out. It's paying off right now, because they are really doing well. I mean, I've had people in the past who have done fictitious RIP5s, maybe in the year 2015, 2016. They're like, listen, for whatever reason, I'm owing all that money. It's happening. And Sars is just doing an amazing job. So if you're non-compliant, then now is the time to actually start being compliant, right? So those are the things that you need to look out for, especially with tax season. We're a few days away now. It's the 13th today, so we literally have 10 days to submit your income tax return. Right. Another thing that I've noticed happening is, yes, maybe a few months after October, you might not notice any penalties that SARS is actually issuing. But then SARS has this new thing now, when if you had outstanding returns, you won't see any penalties being issued. And then all of a sudden, when you submit, it's as though their system triggers, it's as though your submission triggers their system to tell it that, listen, this person had not submitted for the past however many years. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's penalties. So that also happens. And the reason I'm saying this is because if you notice that you're actually not getting any penalties, even though you are non-compliant or you have outstanding returns, don't sit there and relax and think that you are actually off the hook, because you just don't know when SARS will actually start issuing penalties. And once they start, they never stop. And so you also might be wondering, how does SARS issue penalties? Because penalties are between 250 Rand a month to 16,000 a month. They look at your previous income, and then they determine how much penalty they're going to charge you, right? So, but I'm not going to get into deeper detail about that. So that's that. Another thing that people need to look out for now that we are drawing closer to tax season, one of the things that normally happens is that because everyone is submitting at the same time, the system sometimes crashes on the last day or 2 days. That does happen. And then another thing that normally happens is even the bookings with the branches, they become so busy that if, for instance, for whatever reason, your return requires you to go to the branch, or you require the help of the branch, it might be difficult to get a booking, or you might get to the branch and it will be too full. But lately at the branch, they're very reluctant to take people, even the ones that are working in, if you have not booked. So that's something that you need to make sure that you look out for. Right. Now, another thing is tax season for 2024 now started on the 1st of March 2020. Yes, started on the 1st of March this year, 2023, and it will end on the 28th of February 2024. So we're closer to the end of the tax season, but then it's still not late, guys, to do some tax planning. And the reason I'm saying this is because you have so many people that come at the end of the tax season, or when we're submitting income tax returns, like, I'm owing SARS so much money, I'm owing SARS thousands and thousands of rands, what do I do? At that point, guys, in most cases, unfortunately, there's nothing we can assist you with as tax professionals other than to just arrange for you to pay the debt that you are owing. But other than that, there's really nothing to do, which is why tax planning is important. Now, you know yourself, you know if you've been owing SARS in the previous years, or just now when you submitted our returns, you know if you owed SARS a lot of money, which means that there is some tax planning that needs to be done, or you need to speak to your HR at work and just make sure that they're deducting the correct tax. In fact, even doing that is part of tax planning, because ultimately you are responsible for your own taxes, not your HR, not whoever. If at the end of the tax season you are owing SARS, you are going to pay, not your company. Right? So it's very important. And another thing, people who are earning commission, again, very important as well. Tax planning is important for you too as well. Most of you need to be registering for provisional tax, so that you can make sure that you actually reduce your debt, right? And then people such as pharmacists who work for different pharmacies, you also need to do some tax planning, because in most cases, most of you end up owing SARS because you earn from different employers. So in other words, you are independent contractors, and normally you are taxed less by your different employers. And I don't think they do it on purpose, but because of the type of work that you do, and because you are independent contractors, you are normally taxed at 25%. And most of you are supposed to be taxed at 40 or 45%, which then which then causes problems, and also which then causes problems for you with the taxman. So it's also important for you as well, if you've noticed a trend in the past how many years or ever since you've been working that you're actually owing SARS, then consult with someone, do some tax planning, ask how you can reduce your tax. In most cases, such things can be managed, and there are solutions, and there are ways that you can make sure that you don't sit with Sars's tax date at the end. And another thing, guys, with tax date, it's not just only for you to actually see how you can plan and pay your debt, so that you don't have cash flow problems at the end. It also helps with expenses, because I have noticed most of you do not deduct all the expenses that you're supposed to be deducting. For instance, there was a client of mine who was an actress, and for the longest time, she's in the past, she hasn't been in a position whereby she needed to pay tax, right? She hasn't been owing Sars, she's been getting money back, and then all of a sudden, she owed money. So I then asked her, when she came to me, I then asked her, like, listen, also, where were the expenses that you've been deducted? I was like, no, I've never had to owe Sars money. I always get money back, so I don't have any expenses. But how do you not deduct any taxes? You're an actress. I'm sure in some of your works, you need to make sure that your nails are done, your hair is done, you have makeup and whatever, you have auditions, you have people that train you for whatever. I'm sure actresses go for training for whatever, maybe for a voice or for whatever, and sometimes you have to make sure that your body looks right for a certain role and whatnot. There are so many expenses that, this is just an example, by the way, that actresses incur because of the job that they do. I'm sure some, you need to make sure that you look a certain way, man. You have to, there has to be some kind of upkeep, and also you doing that because of your job. Remember, guys, any expense that you are doing, if you're an actress or a media, whatever, any expense that you incur simply because you have to be like that because of your job, then that expense is deductible. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but then the main thing you need to take from this one is that, please, 23rd October, last day to submit returns. So do that. It's important, or penalties will be issued by Sars, and you don't want that, because even though in the past Sars has been very lenient with penalties, as soon as you get to act together and become compliant, they're not lenient anymore. They actually refuse now to write off penalties. They just don't want to do it anymore, because it's getting ching, it's money, and they need it right now. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, or even share with your friends and family. And also check out the rest of the channel, guys. I have some really good videos that I think would assist if you're a small business or if you're an individual taxpayer. Another thing, guys, that's very important is, before you ask me a question in the comments, please check the rest of the videos. Normally, some of the answers that people are asking, they're there, especially for students that are always asking about how to register to be a tax, about the career and whatnot. I've done a couple of two videos on how to become a tax practitioner and all the professional bodies that you can register with. So please check that. Secondly, guys, so I'm a tax practitioner by profession, registered. So I do not answer questions based on your personal taxes. The reason for that is because I have clients that pay for that service. They come to me for that service. So that wouldn't be fair on them. And also on me as well. My time, my expertise. So please don't ask me your personal. Yes, you can ask me something general. Be like, hey, listen, I heard there's a I don't know, I heard there's a deduction one can get if they an exemption one can get if they work overseas and whatnot. How does it work? That's general. I'll tell you, this is how it works. Okay, fine. But then you can't come to me and be like, listen, I've been working overseas from this date to this date. This is my income. Can you please calculate if I qualify for an exemption? But that's personal, and people actually consult to do that. So I will leave my email below. You can ask me general questions. I'm happy to, even in the comments, even though sometimes I don't have time to answer everything. But if you want to consult, again, email me. I'll tell you what my fees are, and then we'll do a consultation, or I can assist you with whatever it is that you need assistance with. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and yeah.